Local breaking news. This is WYFF News 4 at 6 in high definition.
And WYFF News 4 investigates tonight teachers who crossed the line with their students.
Our analysis of state records found nearly a third of all South Carolina teachers who've had their licenses revoked got into trouble for having inappropriate relationships with students.
Tonight, one former teacher who pleaded guilty to charges of having sex with one of her students is sharing her story for the first time with WYFF News 4's Tim Waller.
Well, this former teacher, Michaela Carroll, is now a convicted felon. She will never work in a classroom again. And while she disputes some of the facts of her case that made headlines 3 years ago, her story provides insight in what has been a continuing problem. Why are you doing an interview?
To, I guess, get my side out a little bit. I'm not the bad person people have portrayed me to be.
It's been more than 3 years since Deanna Roberts' name and face have been in the news.
You're a felon now.
Correct.
What's that like?
Extremely hard.
The former chemistry teacher at Tomasi Salem School lost her home, her husband, her teaching certificate after pleading guilty to having sex in her classroom with a 16-year-old student she was tutoring after school.
And I put myself in a situation that I shouldn't have been in.
While Robert disputes some of the facts of her case, she admits she crossed a line.
And I did tell him I loved him, but it wasn't a romantic love. It was, you know, it was more of a mother to son type deal.
The boy told his parents told police. Robert got 5 years probation and 1 year of house arrest, along with harsh words from parents who've confronted her.
What did they say?
That I destroyed a child's life, that I'm no good, that my children should be taken from me.
Robert isn't the only teacher who has crossed a line with their students. Since January 2011, 75 other South Carolina teachers have had their teaching certificates revoked for sex-related offenses. A WYFF News 4 investigates analysis of state disciplinary actions taken against teachers found 28% of these cases involved inappropriate contact of some sort with students. Everything from teachers flirting with students to texting explicit photos. 18% of all disciplinary actions involved actual sexual contact with students. The majority of those cases, 31%, involved teachers at upstate schools. An Easley High School teacher charged with the sexual battery of one of his students at his home. A middle school band director charged with criminal sexual conduct after contact with two 15-year-olds. An elementary school teacher accused of having sex with an underage boy at a party at her home. And the list goes on. More than a dozen cases in the upstate alone since 2011. We asked Robert, how does this happen?
Isn't it clear when you're a teacher, you don't text a student? You don't put yourself in a situation
It is.
where there's no one else around.
It is. I never had an issue with that before, ever.
Robert admits she used poor judgment and is now paying the price for her actions.
And some people will say that's what I deserve.
Do you think you deserve all this?
I made bad choices, so I have to accept the consequences for what choices I've made. But the depth of what I've had to go through, no.
Kathy Maness, Executive Director of the Palmetto State Teachers Association, says cases like these represent a very small fraction of the more than 50,000 teachers in this state. But Maness says one case is too many and says teachers who do this have no business being around children. Carol?
Thank you, Tim. A South Carolina Highway Patrol trooper is out of a job tonight. He was fired today after an assault arrest involving his wife. WYFF News 4's Liz Loheis joins us live and local from the Law Enforcement Center in Greenville. Liz?
Well, Carol, deputies say they brought Lance Corporal Homer Rose here last night following his arrest. As you said, as of today, he has been fired. Let's take a look at a mugshot of Rose. He's 70 years old. Greenville County deputies say they were called to Riley Smith Drive last night just before 10. They say Rose's wife had visible injuries. Rose was arrested and charged with criminal domestic violence. Rose has been released on bond. His wife Paula is on house arrest and probation. She was convicted in May of arson for setting her own house on fire and then lying to authorities. The fire happened in July. Now, the Department of Public Safety is investigating this case. As we mentioned, Rose and his wife do live together. Coming up at 11, more on what the judge ordered to keep the victim safe. Liz Loheist, WYFF News 4, live in Greenville.
We'll see you at 11, Liz. Thank you for that. It is the season for sickness, and the proof is in doctors' offices all over the area. WYFF News 4's Mike McCormick in Spartanburg tonight with what's going around.
Sore throat's really bad. The ears stopped up and hurting.
They are the symptoms sending people to doctors like Howard Bean with the Mary Black Health System.
It is something that will mimic cold symptoms. And a lot of people come in feeling like, they've got something that's infectious or contagious, and it turns out that it's really just allergies.
But doctors in Greenville and Spartanburg are reporting an increase in cases of respiratory illnesses. A stomach bug is also going around, and Spartanburg Regional is even reporting cases of the flu. The season doesn't even begin till October. Dr. Bean says the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention is recommending that you get the flu shot as soon as it's available.
Had mine yesterday.
Doctors at Mary Black's Minor Care have seen 157 more patients so far this September than they did last September. Dr. Bean recommends seeing your doctor as soon as you get sick.
People with either colds or allergies, sometimes you can move on to infection that does need treatment with antibiotics.
As we gear up for flu season, we've put all the information you need to know in the On TV section of WYFF4.com. Mike McCormick, WYFF News 4 in Spartanburg.
It's Football Friday, and we're about an hour away from game time. WYFF News 4's Mark Dofer joins us for our Friday Night Hits Game of the Week. He is live in Greenwood for the Greer Emerald High game. Mark?
That's right, Carol. We've got the Vikings taking on the Yellow Jackets. Emerald 2-1. Greer is 3-0. It's just one of several great games around the area tonight. Let's take a look at some of the others. One of the big ones is happening at Dorman High School. Defending state champion and the #1 team in the state, Dutch Fork, is playing at Dorman tonight. Two of the state's best players on the field in that one. Dutch Fork running back Matt Colburn and Dorman wide receiver J.J. Arcega-Whiteside. 3-0 Powdersville off to the best start in school history and ranked for the first time in school history. The 10th ranked Patriots on the road tonight at Liberty. Walhalla is at 10th ranked Seneca. The Bobcats are out to a 3-0 start after beating 3 4A teams to open the season. Seneca has a 27-game winning streak over Walhalla. Coming up in sports, we're going to talk about Emerald and Greer a little bit more. Vikings coach Tim McMahon will join us to talk about the Peach Blossom 3A opener. According to Coach Mack, a big game tonight for the Vikings. We'll hear from him coming up in sports. For now, we're live in Greenwood. Mark Dofer, WYFF News 4.